Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is August the 14th, 2023, and today the topic is still content. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Those that follow me on social media, again, you may have already had a sneak peek at my weekend, but if I give you guys a quick recap, you know that we went to a scholarship banquet on Saturday. My husband was on the program, and he also received an award, so super proud of him and everything like that. It rained on Saturday as well while we were out and about, but somehow we bypassed it, right? Because by the time we got out of the banquet, the rain had passed. So to God be the glory for different things that are blessings or whatever. Um, yeah, it was a nice evening. To be honest, and I would say that this is part of the conversation today, or part of the inspiration for the conversation today, is just having these moments where I'm reflecting on choices that I made. I'm reflecting on where I am, and I'm just content. I am happy to be here. Like, for example, I felt good, even though now obviously banquets and stuff like that comes with a lot of pomp and circumstance, and things of that nature. But I was thinking to myself, I'd much rather be here at this banquet with my husband, right, than anywhere else, right? That I could think of in that moment when I was having those thoughts. Our son was with us and everything like that, so he's seeing his father get up on stage. He was cheering for his father when he came back with the award. All these different type of things where it's like I'd rather be here than anywhere else. And I know that's not true for everybody, right? I know, and it wasn't always the case for me. And I think that's what keeps blowing my mind about it, because in life, I know I can give my testimony easier than I can tell somebody else's. But basically, those that listen to me on here, I think y'all know already. But if not, just in case there's somebody new, that's tuning in for the first time. Um, Long story short, friend, I wasn't really content with my life. I wasn't really content with where I was and all these different things in the past. Um, yeah, I do believe that my desire for a relationship and marriage and all those things played a huge part in my lack of contentment in the past. Um, but even outside of that, I wasn't really content career wise. I wasn't really content with just even where I was spiritually, even though I didn't realize that that's what it was until like the cultivation period, right? Until that time where I felt like God was putting that mirror in front of my face to show me, who I was and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, that's when I started to see the bigger picture and understand that, in order to get to where I want to be or be who I want to be or have the things I want to have, I have to change. And even now I'm still changing, like I'm physically changing, which I thought that was going to be part of the inspiration today, and things like that, because it is an observation that I'm making over the past few weeks, maybe, that I'm physically changing out here. There's some things in my closet that I can't, wear the way I used to, and things like that. But I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, like I've been telling my husband, I think I go back and forth because I want to hear his opinion about my changes, and see, like, am I looking sloppy? Am I looking crazy? Like, let me know. I'm okay with changing, right? I'm okay with, for example, again, I understand that I probably can't wear, the zeros no more. I know y'all probably like, oh, but that's my reality. I used to wear zeros, and I don't know what size I am now. To be honest, I'm like, I might be in the 3, 4. I don't know. I have no clue because everything, like, that's a whole nother conversation, really. But I mean, women's sizes, any other women out there, y'all know that our sizes are so weird. Like, I wore these pants yesterday and it said 00, but I know I got some skirts and shorts or whatever that are zeros that I can't even put on right now. So I don't know. Like I said, when it comes to all of that, I know that there are changes happening in my life, and I guess I welcome the changes, right? Y'all see my hair growing and stuff, things of that nature. Like, I welcome the changes because I guess I feel like I'm becoming more me, if that makes any sense. Maybe this is who I always was or whatever. Um, and now I guess, feeling like I'm walking in uh my purpose, or becoming who I always imagined that I would be, things of that nature. And so, yeah, I guess the inspiration, y'all. I share all this to say that at the end of the day, I guess in this moment, I am still content. And like I said earlier, that blows my mind because I, in the past, was hardly ever content. Um, and I know I still have things that I want to do. I still got, goals and dreams and aspirations and, to-do lists and all these different things. But even in spite of that, I'm like, I still wouldn't rather be anywhere else than where I am, doing the things I'm doing, and everything like that. And so I guess what I hope is that we all, right, can get to that mindset, right? That we all can get to the place where we allow God to lead and guide our life, so much so that we are content wherever we are, um in that path of life. Um yeah, there might be some things we got to do. Obviously, we have to, renew our hearts and minds to receive that and say, Lord, okay, well, your will be done versus my own will being done. And I think that's where some of the issues with contentment, or contention with the idea of contentment, comes from. Because, some people feel like, oh, I'm stagnant, X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm not growing, X, Y, and Z. Now, there is something to be said of that. Like, I don't think I'm in a place of contentment so much that I'm not growing. I just told y'all I'm physically growing. But even outside of that, I mean, I feel like I'm spiritually growing. Um, even with the job, I know I had a conversation with one of my coworkers and whatnot, and we were kind of talking, and I was just basically sharing with her that, even though we didn't get to talk long about it, because obviously we were working yesterday and whatnot, but like I said to you, I've showed you all numerous times that it blows my mind where I am. And you know, again, if somebody had told me in 2019, oh, you're just going to be, you're going to wake up every morning and do Bible study. You're going to work at the church. You're going to, you know, hustle from home. Like, I mean, if people had told me that, I mean, I would have been trying to figure out how that was going to work. Like, what do you mean? And I'm still going to pay bills, and I'm still going to eat, and I'm still going, you know what I mean? Like, I would have been trying to figure that part out. And the church wasn't that far fetched, honestly, because I want to say the year I met my husband, even though we were dating then, but the year we met, I worked at a church briefly, as, what did they call me? The creative something. I can't even remember. I can't even remember what the title name was. It's on my resume, whatever it was. But I feel like creative director, maybe something like that, to where I was kind of managing the flow of service and things of that nature. Um, making sure there was, I guess, breakfast there for everybody. Things like that. It was kind of a smaller church or whatever, but I was doing that for a while when we first met. So I don't know if God was just, foreshadowing things in my life and letting me know that, hey, you know, um, I have some things for you when it comes to church and ministry or whatever the case is. And I see some things on the horizon, even for the church that I'm going to now, and the current position and things like that. So, but the thing is, right, I think the overall difference now for me is that I am totally okay with whatever God wants to do, right? Um, so whether he wants me to stay there and grow and get another position or whatever the case is, like, I'm cool and open to that. Um, so what got me there, right? I mean, well, I would say, again, leaning and depending on the Lord. I would say, putting all of my, concerns and things like that in his hands, and listening, right? Listening to, I guess, the things that he's encouraging, inspiring me to do, and things like that. So I mean, let me share some Bible with y'all because I don't know. I guess I done shared enough testimonies at this point. So let me share some Bible with y'all about this concept of being still content. All right. So 1 Timothy 6:6-9, it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many, sorry, y'all, into many, I can't remember, I don't know what I wrote, y'all. So sorry, y'all got to look that word up yourself. And harmful desires. I think it was something list. I don't know. Y'all look up that word yourself. Harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. Justless, that might be justless, but again, confirm what that word is that I stumbled over for yourself. But overall, I think we get the message of this this verse here. It's just pretty much reminding us that, we didn't bring nothing with us. We can't take nothing. No, we didn't bring nothing, and we can't take anything. And at the end of the day, having desires or coveting or whatever the case is, and not being content, it just pretty much leads to basically harmful desires and destruction. That's literally what it's saying here. And it made me, it reminded me of the conversations that we had last week, where we talked about the lust of the eyes and all these different things. They lead to sin, and then ultimately sin leads to death and things of that nature. I don't know if we believe the words again that are in the Bible, but I mean, I think we can see the fruits of it all around us. And I mean, I hope that this would help us to consider these words and consider these things, because again, I'm sitting here as a living witness. The more I lean and depend on the Lord, and I lay things at his feet, and I don't worry about, like, I think my inspiration, right, for doing the things I'm doing in this season, it's just, I think when I think about, for example, building wealth and things of that nature, which, yes, I think about doing. I'm an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Things like that. I'm thinking about, doing, and especially, like I said, because I'm so content in this season of hustling from home and doing things like that, where I'm like, okay, Lord, well, what else can I establish while I have this or that going, right? And so, yeah, I think like that as well, but I'm not thinking about, like, just to build wealth for me. I think more so like about making sure I have something to continue the things, right? Like, for example, again, GSL does cost, y'all. I'm paying people. Y'all know I've told y'all about the International Dream Team, things of that nature. It's way beyond me. So in order for me to pay people, I got to make some money. You know what I mean? Now, I don't necessarily depend on GSL to make money. I feel like, again, I'm working part-time now, which was a blessing that has been established here in 2023. But before that, I was doing, freelance work and just doing my own endeavors and things like that. Again, what I call my hustles from home. And those things were bringing in things or bringing in funds when needed, to where, and obviously we know what happened with, I ain't got to tell y'all what happened with 2020 and all that. Y'all already know stimulus and all that stuff played a factor in keeping GSL afloat as well. At least when I put it out here. And so, but what I'm saying is, it's more about, like, keeping the things going that God has established, right? He's established the juice, right? Me doing daily Bible study and sharing it and things of that nature, and ultimately making the journal and things like that, to where, okay, how can I keep this going? How can I, maybe make more things that will hopefully encourage and inspire people to, tap into their own daily Bible study situations and things like that. Again, even with the GSL talk show, okay, there's edited on board, there's the virtual assistant, things like that. But even beyond them, it's like, how can I keep the content available, right, for anybody to tap into at their leisure. How can I make more things that will hopefully encourage and inspire people that are on this walk, this Christian walk in particular, right? That may need, again, like all of this came from my own need back in the day. I had a need as a Christian single woman, and I was confused, and I was trying to figure out, how to do this, how to do that. Was anybody else out there thinking the way I'm thinking, and all this different type of stuff, to where now the Lord has blessed me with this platform to be able to have all kind of, like, it's over thousands of videos at this point, y'all. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that being established. But if there's any other things that I could do to assist people on their walk, I don't know if this would be my way of making disciples or however it is, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can make this or that will encourage people again to study more, or to, think about things a little bit differently. Like, I know I even shared, not everything, I didn't share everything, but over the weekend, I think I was telling y'all Saturday that, I've even put out myself as someone that can be a dating coach and things of that nature, or give Christian advice. And obviously just making that step has helped at least a few people, because they've reached out and about their questions and things. And I've been able to, seek the Lord about what to share and say. And thus far, everyone has, attested that they needed whatever I shared and gave. And so that's the thing. It's like, how can I stay in this place to be able to continue to do the work of God? Like, that's more so my, I guess, I don't know if you say vision or like inspiration or whatever the case is. And I think, again, the more I lean and depend on the Lord and say, okay, well, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? The more stuff gets established. When I was out here doing whatever I wanted to do and trying to, like, well, let me try to build my resume as an actor. Let me try to do this and that. And for whatever reason, I was never fulfilled with any of those things. I would reach the goal and then be like, something missing. Reach this goal. This don't even feel right. And it's like, now I don't have that. There's a peace and contentment with doing the will of God. I think because we all are here to do whatever he created us to do. And so when you're not doing what he created us to do, unless you're somebody with a reprobate mind, and unless you're somebody that are completely against the will of God and you just don't want to do the will of God, unless you're one of those people, you find yourself, at least for me, I can only, again, it's easier to share my own testimony, y'all. The more, again, I was out of the will, I was very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, because I'm like, well, Lord, I mean, at some point, I'm just like, well, what do you want me to do then? Because I thought I was doing it, but apparently I'm not. So, and I'm in this place of not being content, and feeling like something's missing, and feeling like I'm failing, or feeling like whatever the things, that the darkness that we can get into mentally when we're in a downward spiral of, I guess, I don't know, is it our own ideas? Perhaps. But anyway, I feel like there was a lot of wisdom in that first verse, y'all, or first few verses, and I hope that you guys tapped into it. Got a little bit more for y'all. All right, so we got Philippians 4:11-13. It says, not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought down, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of having plenty, facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Is that us today? Like, are you saying that today, or are you saying the opposite? I guess that's one question we can ask ourselves, and everything like that. I mean, I feel like a lot of that is me. Again, I'm on the flip side, I am considering that, I know a lot of the things that I'm content about, again, being a wife, being a mother, things of that nature. I know at the end of the day that, God has given me those gifts. And, again, knowing what happened with my mother and father and things of that nature, I know how can I say, I don't know the word right now, but how I just know how valuable that is and how fragile that is. Because God gives and he can take away and things of that nature. And I think and that's one thing I would say about you know, when I think about, like, again, when my husband and I met and stuff like that, meeting him pushed me to be like, okay, I know how this thing works. If I make him my everything, he gonna be gone. So if I want to keep this man around, I got to give honor to the Lord about this whole thing. Like, I know at the end of the day, he's great. He's amazing. He's everything I needed in a man. But on the flip side, I can't focus so much on that. I got to be like, Lord, thank you, right, for this man. Like, and you hear that, right? People say, oh, if someone pushes you towards Christ, that's the person for you. If they push you away, then that's probably not the person. X, Y, and Z. And that was a living example for me. That's what I went through mentally. Now, maybe that's wisdom, and I had to get to that place and learn that. But again, like, when I compared him to how I dealt with guys before him, like my ex or guys that I just had a crush on or things like that, I was like always thinking about them, right? Always pining after them and X, Y, and Z. But for whatever reason, when it came to Mr. Nadario Says, I was like, okay, this is great, but I don't think I need to focus on just that. You know what I mean? I need to keep the Lord in this. I was like, even before we, it's so much so that even before we had put up our status on Facebook or changed our status to be together, I was like, look, I did this not long ago, and obviously, I had to change it. I don't know. I feel like we need to pray before we do this. And we did. And, it's God be the glory, man. I don't know, man. I hope these things are encouraging and inspiring you. I'm not just trying to tell y'all my testimony, and I hope y'all don't feel like, I don't know how people feel. Like, sometimes when people share their testimony, I think people be like, oh, you out here trying to blah, blah, blah. I tell y'all all the time, I'm not perfect. My husband ain't perfect. Like, we humans out here, like, and I've told y'all some struggles I've had and things of that nature. Now, I do feel like things are getting better, so God be glory, However, anyway, I just hope y'all don't feel no way about my testimony. What I hope is that my testimony is encouraging you and inspiring you. That's what I hope. But anyway, let me keep going. Just a few more verses, y'all. Colossians 3:2, it says, set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. That's another thing that's going to help us be content and take it to another level, y'all. The more I set my mind on things of the Lord, the more that he gives me the desires of my heart, of the things that I've wanted here. But even still, I mean, there's plenty of verses that tell us that your plans will be established when your plans are in line with God's plan. Again, I told y'all back in the day, the thing that got me on this path, or one of the things, is that sermon that I heard from Pastor Sammy over there at God's House Orlando. And the man said, if you make God's wants your want, you're going to get what you want. And I said, well, Lord, what is it that you want then? Because I want what I want. And so I need to figure out what you want so we can get on the same page. and lo and behold, all these years later, here I am sharing the testimony almost every day. And so to God be the glory, man. To God be the glory for all things. I mean, setting our minds on things above. I know that can be difficult. We're going through life. We got to eat. We got bills. We got things in front of us that we see, and then we're like, oh, you talking about the God you can't see, X, Y, and Z. But you can't see them when you seek them, but that's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, let's challenge ourselves to do that, y'all. Set our minds on things that are above. Is there anything else you want me to say about that, Lord? Because I'm sitting here thinking, and it made me think more so about that first verse again, about the end of it, how it talks about that word I jumbled up, as well as the harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. But I think that goes back to like coveting, right? It goes back to like looking what someone else is blessing and wanting that thing. Like, now, I think there's ways to look at other people and their blessings and be encouraged and inspired by it, right? To be like, you know what? I see what God did for them, and I know that God can do it for me. Like, I think, again, if we change our hearts and minds about the way we look at stuff, instead of being jealous, instead of like looking at it like, I want that thing or whatever the case is, because I tell y'all, okay, go an example. I think I shared with you guys that I've been like watching this influencer or whatever, and I've been tuning in her to her channel, and she does the most simple stuff, but people just love it. I mean, you'll see her eating, getting ready for the day, just stuff, regular stuff like that. But she got the million subscribers. She got all the people supporting her business. I just supported her business because I just bought these sunglasses for my birthday, right? So I just supported her business, right? But instead of getting jealous of this young lady, because I mean, she's traveling, she's doing all this amazing stuff that I hadn't got a chance to do yet, and y'all know that I want to travel and stuff as well. But instead of being jealous of this young lady, I'm like, I guess I'm encouraged and inspired by her. It's like, okay, you young, you in your 20s, you're doing this, you're doing that, obviously you built yourself this platform, you're already on YouTube killing it, you got your business established now, you about to build a home. Like, that's amazing for you. Would I want to change my life for hers? No, I'm content. I enjoy being married. I enjoy having our son. I enjoy, the things that we've been able to establish. I'm grateful for the platform of GSL. I'm grateful for taking our time every day studying God's word. Like, yeah, I want to travel and stuff like that, but I feel like that's coming. Speaking of that, man, listen, your girl done set up an appointment for my birthday to finally get my passport. So, we praying that the funds will be there for me to go and get that on my birthday. I set the appointment up, and look, in faith, believing that I'm going to be getting the passport and stuff. So that means that, there's some travels on, at least on the horizon, because I'm getting prepared for it, And so I wouldn't trade my life for the young lady's life. I wouldn't trade the followers or anything like that. Like, at the end of the day, I think it's great for her what is being established for her in her life, and I'm encouraged and inspired by the things that she's established, and I am pursuing my own pursuits, and I'm grateful for where I am. Again, that's a place of contentment. Like, back in the day, old Miracle probably would have been coveting a little bit, you know what I mean, and things of that nature. And so, to God be the glory for growth and wisdom, and I think we all can do that. Let's all do that. Yeah, because it could just lead you down a dark path, right? Of this whole coveting thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Anyway, we can go deeper about that. But let me keep going. I only got a couple more verses, y'all. Luke 12:15, it says, "And he said to them, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." That's the complete opposite of what the world tells us, right? The more you got, the more wealthy you are, or whatever the case is, right? And the truly rich people are the ones that are like, they got the joy, peace, freedom in regards to all of that. Like, at the end of the day, again, I would say, even when I read the Bible, it talks about how riches and our inheritance is our children and things of that nature. Like, can we shift our hearts and minds in regards to all of this today? I believe we can. I mean, I'm a living witness that it can be done. But I guess the question for you, whoever you are listening to the sound of my voice, is, do you want to shift your heart and mind in regards to these things? I'm a living witness, y'all, that at the end of the day, the more I do that, the more I see the blessings, the more I see the things that I desire, which I feel like are things that God put inside of me to desire. But however you want to look at it, right? The things that the desires of my heart, I see and live, because I've decided to shift my heart and mind in regards to how I handle this whole being content thing. And I mean, I guess ultimately, this is the juice this morning. I hope y'all receive some wisdom. I mean, I feel like it's pretty good, but if y'all want to go deeper, I mean, there's plenty of verses to go deeper in the go deeper section. so peruse them and let them marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds. Like I said, that's the juice, y'all. I don't think I got no more to add to that. So let me go ahead and give you guys the Bible verse of today. And it's Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, into good works, which hath before ordained that we should walk in them." You guys can read that very nice and clear on your own. But like I said, y'all, this is the juice this morning. I hope y'all have a magnificent Monday, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Like I said, do y'all appreciate my testimonies, or y'all just want me to stick to the juice? Y'all let me know. Am I sharing too much? I guess I'm just trying to give examples of the way that I see this working in my life. And like I said, I mean, it took me a while to get to this place of contentment, y'all. I'm grateful to be here. Sometimes you wonder, like, man, is things too good? Like, when is the shoe gonna fall or the other foot gonna fall, or whatever the case is? You know, but I don't want to think that way. At the end of the day, I know that there's ups and downs in life, and I know that, good and bad and all these things, I'm sure, will happen and things. But on the flip side, I mean, all things work together for good of those that love God. I laugh because I feel like I just got another idea for something that I could create. And this is how it happens. God just keep downloading these ideas to me, and I'm like, well, Lord, these things take fun, but He's providing funds, and I'm not complaining about where I am at all. Like I'm thankful. Yeah, man. Yeah. I enjoyed the weekend though. Church was good yesterday as well. I did get a chance to sit in the service. They started a new sermon series yesterday, and I was going to try to give you guys the title of it, but I can't remember it at the moment. But it was kind of like about growth, and I know yesterday the pastor kind of talked about spiritual growth and things of that nature. And yep. Like I said, I see things on the horizon. I don't know what all that will mean for me or what I'm currently doing and got going on. I'm grateful for where I'm at. But if the Lord wants me to grow and do more, I'm cool with that too. I'm still deciding about doing my groups again, like the Juice Bible Study group and the Madam Miraculous group. I know the church asked me, I think at the end of the month, to do an event or play my character at this upcoming event for the church. And so that's a blessing, man, to, people see your gift and whatnot, and being able to use it for the glory and honor of God is amazing and whatnot. There's some cool things happening behind the scenes. But I'll let y'all know about some of that later. But it's just very interesting. If I do share anything about what's currently going on, it's just very interesting how you can get how can I say this? You can try to have something with someone and it don't work, but then you can completely have it with someone else, and everything is smooth. So I would say that that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes, but y'all see some fruit, I believe, soon from that, and y'all be able to know, I guess, a little bit what I'm talking about. I won't get too deep unless the Lord wants me to when it comes to like some of the stuff, but I'm grateful, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I feel pretty good about the way things are going thus far, and yeah. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go because I already done talked y'all's ears off. And so y'all have a wonderful Monday. And like I said, I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Bye.